Hello and welcome to Gardening at 58 North. In this video I'd like to give you an update of my Betula here, which is a silver birch tree. This version is the Betula pubescens, which is the downy one, or the hairy birch tree native to Scotland and many other northern areas. So in the last video I showed you, I just repotted it. It had a very tiny pot. It was probably maybe 5 or 6 times smaller than this, really small, probably only about this tall, about that wide, so it's quite small. You can see this one's a lot bigger, and it was desperately in need of repotting because it was just getting far too small. So what I've done now is, it's been a few months since I've repotted it. It's been outside, partly due to the stress of being repotted, and also because the sunlight's really starting to fade now. It's getting cold outside as it's almost the middle of October. It lost a lot of its leaves. You can see here a lot of its leaves have gone, but it's kept the ones on the tips. And they're still quite green and lush considering it's autumn now. A lot of the local silver birches have actually changed colour already and started to drop the leaves, but this one has stayed quite fresh. I think because my balcony is quite sheltered, it's got a lot of concrete around it, so it stayed quite warm and it's quite a sunny spot, so this has not had really cold temperatures overnight. It's done well. It hasn't grown at all on the top. You can see there's no new growth since last time. The only thing that might have happened is the buds have fattened up. I'll try and get one in focus so you can see it. So you can see there the new buds are quite fat now. So they're ready to go into dormancy, and then when spring comes they'll burst into life. They are a little bit too fat possibly, because they shouldn't be quite that big until spring, but they certainly do fatten up a little bit before winter, so that they're ready to go when spring does finally arrive. Apart from that, I think maybe it's thickened up the stems a little bit, but generally, since I've repotted it, there's been no obvious growth. And that's kind of what I was expecting, to be honest, because it's now autumn, and when I did repot it, it was late summer. And what happens from late summer onwards with trees and a lot of perennial shrubs is you won't notice any growth seem to stop growing, but what they are actually doing is they're putting a lot of growth into their roots, and they're storing lots and lots of energy ready for next year, so when next year comes they can put on a really good strong growth in spring, get all the leaves out, new shoots, and get a good head start in the growing season. And that's exactly what this has been doing. So I'll now show you the roots. As I said, originally there was very small pots, so you would see no roots if it hadn't grown. Hasn't grown enough roots to fill the pot yet, so I have to be careful I don't drop any of the soil out, as it's not fully formed, but you'll be able to see there are many healthy roots on this one now. See, they're quite thick. Let's see if I can rotate this round. You can see there's lots of healthy roots, and they're all white, and they're all quite healthy. They're bright white because there's new growth. You can see they're quite good, even starting to branch quite a lot, but they are quite thick roots, and it's the thick roots which are more for storing of the energy. It's the thin, finer roots here that's more for gathering nutrients and water. So it's got plenty of root growth, which has been good. So it's definitely getting ready for next year, and that's what I wanted. So all that I need to do now is wait for it to lose its leaves. I will then do a little bit of minor pruning just to make sure it's going in the right kind of direction with the shape and everything. And then if I want to change the trunk shape, I might wire it up as well over winter, ready for spring. So I think that's about it for my tree. As I say, I'll give you an update when leaves are all fallen off and I'm ready for the next stage. So next spring I'll let it grow on a bit bigger again in the big pot, help thicken up the trunk, and then probably in a year's time I'll then reduce it to a smaller pot and really start to make it look like a bonsai. So that's all for my birch tree for now, and as I said, I'll keep you guys updated as it progresses.